you're watching Mission Swachhta and Paani, our live telethon that's been live now for several hours. I've lost count, Maria, of how long we've been on air. Yes, it feels much longer though, and we're live across Network 18 on all of our channels. If you haven't joined the conversation, then join in now. Our hashtag is on your screen, so send us your feedback, your comments, and of course, we're asking each one of you to tell us how you believe each citizen can contribute. So the 5-point mandate, that charter that we're setting together, please send us your feedback. We appreciate your comments. Joining Mission Paani's campaign with us on stage, very, very special guest, Lalita Kumaramangalam, the former president of the NCW. Also with us is the actor, entrepreneur, Kunal Kapoor. Kunal, many thanks for joining us here.
Thank you.
We've also got other guests coming in, Srimoy Kundu, acclaimed journalist and columnist on gender and sexuality, and Ayyo Shraddha, actor and influencer. Piyu and Shraddha, could we have you join us on stage as well? Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our guests who joined the campaign here on Swachhta and Mission Paani. Hello, Shraddha. Hello.
Both in turtleneck, and that is good. You know, influencers, as they say, play a very important role. In social media influencers, because of their following and the message, social message gets carried the best way through social influencers. Right. So thank you, Shraddha, and welcome.
Oh, it's all up to you now. We're counting on you.
Yes, we're counting on each one of you to spread the message. But you know what I want to talk to each one of you about, and I'll start with you, Lalita ji, because through the course of today, and of course the conversations that we've had over the previous 2 seasons of Mission Paani and now Mission Swachhta and Paani, is the impact that the deficiency of sanitation, of hygiene, of water, the impact that it has on the lives of women, the kind of constraints that it creates for women to be able to achieve and realize their true potential. And I know that this is something that you've worked, it's very personal to you. So what do you think ensuring clean sanitation, ensuring that there is water availability, there is access, can do in terms of just changing the lives, the everyday lives of women in this country?
I was just talking to Srimoy about this. I'm a breast cancer survivor. I was one of the lucky ones. I had access to treatment and all the rest of it. One of the main reasons for breast cancer or cancer amongst women increasing, and it's now reached epidemic proportions in India, even though we don't know about it, is the fact that we have so little hygiene. It's not just about the use of sanitary towels, it's about the proper use of sanitary towels. Everybody now talks about STs, not everybody, but where we do.
The very privileged do,
Where we do, we don't teach them how to use them and how to dispose them. And women, unfortunately, even today, I mean, how many of us on stage, quite frankly here, can talk about periods to the men in our own family, our friends, our colleagues, forget the colleagues bit, actually, our friends, our own family, our sons. I mean, no, it's a big no-go, even for people like you and me, which is, it's a big taboo. So women, if they don't know what to do, they don't know where to go and ask. And that's something that, as women, we need to be able to. No, they just feel they're not supposed to talk about it. It's still extraordinarily, it's extraordinarily taboo, ganda hai, as they say in Hindi. I mean, you know, in the nalladilla in Tamil we say. So it's just not good. It's not done. And we have these barriers that women are never supposed to cross. You have to be proper, well-dressed, pretty. You can't be, you know, all the rest of it, the guidelines for women.
It's a long list.
It's a long list, it can go on. Bind us to not being able to talk about our real problems. So it's not even just an availability of water, but it's also that even today, if you go to a shop to buy sanitary towels, how do they give it to you?
You wrap it
in
up
a black pad.
Exactly.
So it's so demeaning. So we internalize that, which is human. And therefore, where do women get a chance to talk about their reproductive health?
Absolutely, but it's not just women, Srimoy, and that's what I want to address with you. You know, part of why we're doing this is to mainstream the conversation on why sanitation matters, on why water matters, on why access to both matter, and the outcomes, if you provide them, to economic empowerment, health empowerment, and the difference that it makes. But, you know, we need to start talking about the impact on other marginalized communities, on other less privileged communities as well. And I know that that's something that you're hoping to mainstream as well.
Yes, very true. You know, I think I'm going to share a very emotional story to begin with. So recently I made a road trip in the Northeast, and you know, when you do road trips, that's when you realize how fragile the access to sanitation really is.
Yes.
You know, I mean, we are privileged. We are going in a car and seeing us, you know, people are moving and they are giving us access to a toilet. So we stopped at a dhaba, you know, on the Guwahati-Shillong highway, and there was a young mother feeding a child at her plump breast. And the women in that toilet, women like me, you know, who came out of Innovas and Corollas and all of that, well, you know, I mean, she wasn't menstruating, right? Usually we have this image about a menstrual, you know, cycle of a woman, and a lot of campaigns now. But you should have seen that look on everybody's face that, oh my God, she's just popped out her breast, and though it was a quote-unquote ladies' toilet. And the most beautiful thing happened, you know, a strong, wonderful trans woman who was waiting peacefully in line, but not sure whether she would have access to a woman's toilet, right? Because that is such an issue of marginalization. She came and she just wrapped her arms around this mother and put her pallu like this, you know, as if it was almost a film heroine. And I thought that was the most beautiful endorsement of what access to sanitation or a toilet should be. It should be gender neutral. So if you see during the, you know, process of change that trans people go through, it's very confusing, it's very dehumanizing. Which toilet do they access? Of course, we must salute state governments, like the Delhi government has recently had exclusive toilets, right, for trans women. But what about trans men? So I think the way forward is to make access to public toilets in general gender neutral. Because isn't this the whole message of diversity and inclusion? Isn't this what our culture is all about? I cannot tell you the image of that young mother and the image of this woman. Now, of course, we have Sushmita Sen playing my friend Gauri Sawant in the film Tali. But a real-life trans woman, you know, who didn't even know whether she could come and, you know, use the toilet, protecting this young mother and giving her that dignity of womanhood. I will never forget this story.
And Kunal, since you have teamed up with Akshay Kumar and you have distributed sanitary napkins, particularly among the women who are disadvantaged in Mumbai, what has the experience been like? And you know, the fact that we are having an event and we are normalizing, mainstreaming that conversation, do you think that will certainly go a long way?
Yeah, I think it will. You know, that was a campaign where there's this wonderful NGO, they call Samarpan, and they provide hygiene kits and sanitary pads to underprivileged women, and they were helping daily wage workers during the pandemic and the lockdown and stuff, right? And Akshay has obviously been a big supporter of menstrual hygiene, which is great. And we reached out to him, and you know, he was very happy to come on board. We ended up raising 20 lakhs, reached out to a lot of women, but I think the most important thing that happened with that campaign was the fact that you could have a conversation about this, right?
And the men were having a conversation
about this. And the thing is that, you know, you can't sort of, it's not tangible, you can't put the value of awareness, right? But, you know, when you have conversations like this, I mean, for me, this is not even something that's crossed my mind. Exactly. But when she, you know, talks about it, you know, you start thinking, and hopefully, you know, with initiatives like this, it gets people to think, and I think that is the most important thing that you can do. And I've always believed that, you know, as celebrities, you know, we're selling colas, and we're selling clothes, and we're selling cars. There's absolutely no reason that you should not be able to put out good causes and, you know, create awareness. So yeah,
and behavioral change. I mean, that's exactly what we're hoping to do here today. But Shraddha, I want to ask you, with how many million followers do you now have?
Well,
okay.
That's Shireen Bhan with millions of followers.
I don't have millions of followers. But no, but honestly, I mean, how do you see yourself using the platform that's now available to you, where you can literally directly reach out to millions of people?
Right.
How do you intend to use that platform to drive change? Is that something that you hope to do?
Absolutely. And I'm so thrilled that I'm here today, because talking about World Toilet Day, and it really has to cross content creators' minds. We create content for Engineers Day because we know engineers are on social media and engineers know it's Engineers Day. We create content for Children's Day because children are everywhere. Women's Day, all the men know it's Women's Day.
And by the way, today is International Men's Day as well.
And that's why men know it's Toilet Day. Many low-hanging content ideas over there that women are lapping up. But we don't really... But World Toilet Day, are we talking about the people who are maintaining toilets in the country at all?
Yeah.
I flew from Bangalore to Mumbai, and at the Bangalore airport, I went to the toilet and I said, "Gotenru nimge, it was World Toilet Day." And Sujata over there is saying, "Hold on." Then I said, "Bombay mein to zarur pata hoga." Mumbai airport, I met Ramasundari and Arati at the women's toilet. I said, "Happy World Toilet Day." Toilet Day? ऐसा भी होता है? I said, "आपको पता ही नहीं है, Toilet Day है आज." Which also goes to say that we are not celebrating.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are not celebrating these people. I think World Toilet Day, content creators need to celebrate these people, take pictures with them, take selfies with them. Also celebrate the great Indian middle class potty training. India se solid potty training aur kahin nahi hoti hai because we are taught like ninja techniques. घर से टॉयलेट करके जाने का एंड घर वापस आने तक टॉयलेट किधर भी नहीं करने का. Hold it. If we can hold our anger the way we can hold our susu potty, all your prime time debates will sound like guided meditation.
That's it. You killed prime time debates, Shraddha. You killed prime time debates. But we're gonna ask each one of you before we let you go. And Kunal, I'm going to start by asking you. We're soliciting 5 things that every citizen should focus on. So what's the top thing that you want to do?
What's the top thing? You know, look, as an actor, I think, you know, you have to contribute in the field that you can. And I think the most powerful thing that you can do as a content creator, as an actor, is make sure that the content that you create not only is obviously entertaining, but also has a social sort of message. So for me, the most important kind of content is the content where once you come out of the theater, you say, "Oh, that's a great movie, but it also got me to think."
Yeah.
And hopefully I can create that kind of content around things that I feel strongly about, which is one of the things that, you know, we've been talking about is dignity of labor, you know, and I think that's something that is really important because these sanitation workers are doing something which is very important, but they're doing it in very, very challenging circumstances, right? You're facing diseases, your social stigma, which is really horrible, and then, you know, it's the worst, most unhygienic working conditions.
Absolutely.
So I think that dignity of labor is something that is a really important one for me.
Dignity of labor is imperative for us to focus on. 10 seconds, the one thing you want to focus on.
I'd like to get all people with any sort of social media influence to force the companies that make sanitary towels to put instructions in different languages, not just English and Hindi.
Yeah. Okay.
Tamil, Telugu, Marathi, Bengali, Odia.
Great
so
idea.
Women who are, including the, you know, the environmentally friendly packets, so that women actually know that they're for them and how to use and how to dispose. And one more thing, I'd like everybody here to understand that 80% of non-industrial use of water is controlled by women. So teach women how to use and conserve water.
Great idea. Srimoy.
Well, I think, you know, the key to the success of the Swachh Bharat mission is giving women accessibility. And I think the unequal sort of distribution of, you know, our access to sanitation, public health care is the reason behind why you'll see women feel unsafe, Shireen.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, from school, we've never gone to a toilet alone. Most of the time, we take a friend, will you come with me to the toilet? You know, when I've traveled in rural India, especially by train, you know, the most common sight is to see men, you know, sitting and defecating in public.
Yeah.
And I've actually worked with women who've said that, you know, when we defecate in public, it's a healthcare hazard for women.
Absolutely.
Pregnant women, a security hazard. And so many women, especially in my home state of Bengal, especially post-poll, pre-poll violence and all, there are women who are picked up when they are going to collect water or they are just going, taking their child to, urinate or whatever, and they are gang raped.
Yeah.
So access to healthcare just doesn't mean healthcare. You know, it also means women's safety, and I think it's a fundamental right.
It is a fundamental
fundamental human right.
Absolutely. Shraddha, the final word to you.
I think content creators need to understand there's a lot of fertile matter in and around toilet. बहुत content बनाया जा सकता है. World Toilet Day should be celebrated like we celebrate Valentine's Day. So much content. And when movies release, we dance and make those reels. इतना trend करते हैं. We need to trend World Toilet Day. And जैसे food bloggers say कि अरे घर जैसा खाना, वैसे we should review toilets and say घर जैसी potty.
So let's ensure that Mission Swachhta or Paani is trending today. So please, if you haven't tweeted, tweet us using the hashtag Mission Swachhta or Paani. Shraddha, Shrimoy, Kunal and Lalita Kumar Mangalam, thank you so much for joining us here. We really appreciate your time and your wonderful ideas that you've shared with us. We are going to take a break, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. We're back on Mission Swachhta and Paani after this short break. And we have a very, very, very special guest lined up. You don't want to miss that. I'm not going to tell you. Surprise.